I'm Kimberly Seals-Allers, and I'm the author of The Big Letdown, How Medicine, Big Business, and Feminism Undermine Breastfeeding. It's so interesting because I take a lot of heat around talking about feminism and how it undermines breastfeeding, so I want to make sure that I set the record straight. One of the things that's so important for us to realize, and I often call this an unintended consequence, is that in our very important and very critical quest to be viewed as equal to men, that we forgot to fight for the things that make us uniquely women, and that includes birth and breastfeeding. And that it wasn't intentional, we understand that, but we can't ignore that this has caused real consequences for women today. Women being forced into male work patterns, expected to go back to work 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after giving birth. And then after you give birth, please don't show any signs of lactating because we want you to go sit in that room and close the door behind you, right? This is the unintended consequence, that when we did not celebrate the ways that we are definitely the same but also different. One of the things I talk about in the book that's so important, and I think I love to read it straight from the book because I feel like I said it best in terms of understanding why breastfeeding is a feminist movement, right? First of all, breastfeeding is a reproductive right. It allows me to feed what my reproductive organs produce. And that if we don't include breastfeeding in the conversation of reproductive rights, then we are not really creating a full women's movement that actually supports women through the full continuum of their lives. Now, statistics say that 80% of women will become mothers at some point in their lives. And so if we frame the reproductive rights movement only around women not using their reproductive organs, although that's very important, but don't fight for the same protections for women when they choose to use those reproductive organs, then we haven't really created a broad-based women's movement that supports women in all the roles that they will play in their lives. This is so important, so important. And so we have to think about this. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like we're about to give up for a fight for our rights as women. I don't know if anybody else is getting that feeling out there with the climate that we're in, but we have to make sure that when we begin to push to protect what women need in this society, that we make sure that what mothers need, the protection that they need, are included in that, and that we don't continue to frame reproductive rights as not just the right to not use your organs, but also the right to use them and be supported in that frame as well. Now, I wanted just to quickly read something because I feel like it really frames the feminist movement. I hope it will set the record straight so the feminist folks will invite me to speak. So here's what I said. The ultimate connection between breastfeeding and feminism is that in a truly equitable society, women would have the capacity to pursue their productive and reproductive work without penalty. In that vein, breastfeeding becomes the perfect lens to see the misogyny of our culture as it impacts mothers. Women are harassed and shamed and illegally evicted from public spaces for breastfeeding. Women are threatened with losing custody of their children for breastfeeding for too long. Women are ridiculed and bullied for trying to pump milk at work. Women are described as freak shows for breastfeeding twins or tandem feeding. Women are told they're not allowed to keep breast milk in communal fridges because it's viewed as a bodily secretion and not as food. Women are bullied into stopping breastfeeding because breasts are the sexual objects of men. Women are told that it is obscene to breastfeed in front of other people's children or other people's husbands. Women are told their bodies are too fat or too saggy or too veiny to be exposed while breastfeeding. Women are instructed to throw blankets over themselves and their babies if they wish to breastfeed outside the home. The list goes on. This is not the result of some peculiar sensitivity toward babies and small children eating. This does not happen with bottle feeding. This is unique to breastfeeding, and it's about policing women's bodies and their lives. You know exactly the kinds of things feminists used to get riled up about. The fact that women are harassed and shamed for doing something that women's bodies do as a routine part of bearing children is a severe societal flaw that should trouble all feminists. And so, my message for you today, from the very beautiful boardwalk of New Orleans, is that breastfeeding is a feminist issue. It is a women's rights issue. It is a reproductive rights issue. And that is the language that we need to move the conversation forward. Tell me what you think. How can we make breastfeeding more included in the feminist dialogue, right? Tell me what you think. Check me out on Instagram at IamKSeals-Allers, on Facebook.com/IamKSeals-Allers, and also on Twitter at IamKSeals-Allers. Let's get this conversation going, and I want you to be a part of it.